Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of MLS Monday. My name is Joanna Rao, and I am your MLS director here at Florida Gulf Coast. But today what we're focusing on is the MLS, and it's not just a multiple listing service. Our title is Multiple Listing Speedies. So for that, it's going to be all of the fun shortcuts that you might not know or haven't used before that will make your life easier. But also at the end of the day, what we're going to go through and do is help you guys personalize your experience inside of the multiple listing service so that each time you come out, you don't have to recreate the wheel. It's made for your experience. You know, there are 10,000 members here in Southwest Florida, part of our MLS here, never mind the ones that are part of our data shares with our neighbors, Bonita and Neighbor. But we've got 10,000 people. And how is it at the end of the day that 10,000 people do business all here in one same area? It's because you all do something different. You all bring something different to the table. So with that said, I believe that all of your experiences inside of the MLS are very, very different. Some of you are here for investors. Some of you are here for like luxury residential homes, lot and land, whatever that might be that your specialty is. You want to build out your MLS and your experience to what it is that you need. Some of you are solo. Some of you have a team. You know, there's different things that you need every time you come into the MLS. But if you can make your life a little easier, find those shortcuts, have it set up for your experience, your life will be much, much better. So with that, let me go ahead and share my screen. We will be going through multiple things today, and you'll notice we'll kind of jump around, and that's because there's so many different things that you do inside the MLS, but we want to give you the shortcuts for every aspect of that. So we're going to go through the tools on the dashboard and how to set up your dashboard exactly the way that you want it. We're going to go through some search shortcuts. We're going to go through some input shortcuts. We're going to show you guys how to find your production stats by the click of a button real quick. And some stuff that you can save to your dashboard so that you've got easy access for whatever it is that you might need each day. All righty. I'm going to go ahead and share here. Give it a second to load. And there she is. Let me open up our chat too. If you guys need anything, we've got both the Q&A and the chat box going. And I've got it on my side screen here. So that's the whole point of you guys being here live with me today is you can ask questions as we go. I always say no question is a dumb question. That's why we're all here. Whether you're brand new or you've been here for a while, we learn something every day. And I got to tell you, as a director of your MLS, I learned something this morning. So there's no shame in that. So let's start out with the dashboard. You log in. This is the first page that you come to. And you hear me say this all the time if you've been on MLS Monday before. As soon as you land here, most of us just scroll down here, we ignore all the fluff, and we come right over into the MLS. And we ignore all else. Unless you've been here for multiple MLS Mondays, then you know all of these tools very, very well. However, we do, as odd enough as it is, get phone calls and complaints that people don't like to scroll. They say, oh my gosh, it's too much work to have to scroll to click that MLS button. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to. You can add whatever it is you want right here to the favorite section on the dashboard. We do offer a lot of tools. That is a bragging moment, just saying. But if it's not something that you want to have to go through, you don't want to have to find what it is you're using on a regular basis. We have people who have their favorites, right? They're like, hey, I only like to use, maybe it's RPR, or maybe it's Realist when you're doing like database searches. Or, hey, I just want to be able to get to form simplicity really quick. I use that for all of my stuff. I don't want to have to go through it and click it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Save your top ones you want right here. That way, when your dashboard loads up, it's there, it's ready to go, and you don't have to look through all of these much longer. So to do that, what you're going to do is click these three dots right here, copy to favorites, and then these hearts are going to appear next to each tile so that you can then choose out your favorites. I've got 5 up there, but you can continue to add and add and add and add. Once you've got it customized out, you'll click done, and you can see it automatically updates right here, and you can literally add this entire dashboard up here. I know most people just add 6 so that you can see it in this quick, easy view right here, but go ahead, customize this so that all of your easy-to-use tools are here. The other thing that you can also add to your dashboard is personal links. That way you've got easy access to any other tool that you might be using that we don't offer. There are a lot of brokerages that have internal tools. So maybe you don't use Form Simplicity and you use like app files, or you've got like a marketing tool, anything, right? You can add personalized links here by clicking these 3 dots.
and add a new link, edit your existing one if you needed to add something, or you can delete them. That way, as you're in here and you're working, it's a one-stop shop for everything that you might need. You notice I've got in here LIPA because when we're doing classes and we're doing research on properties, whether we're teaching CMAs, how to put in a listing, LIPA is something we always need, right? So this is going to make your experience more useful for you and whatever tools it is you use every day so that you can click into the MLS, you can click into LIPA, you can click into whatever tool it is you might need. It's all right there in your one-use dashboard. So this part, pretty simple, pretty easy, right? Just a good way to customize your experience from the moment that you land here on that dashboard. Now, the rest of the stuff that we're going to cover here is all inside of Matrix. So we'll go ahead and open that up, and you'll notice here that I've got the upgraded dashboard. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this before, you probably have the classic dashboard. If you click on your name, you can toggle between the classic dashboard and the new dashboard. If you have not done this before, this is typically what you see when you log into the MLS. I will tell you, I know change is scary, but the new dashboard is really, really great. It fits your screen better. All of our eyes are like absolutely dying looking at screens all the time. So you'll want to go ahead and open up the classic dashboard experience. Make sure our screen's still sharing properly. Yep. So go ahead and upgrade to the new dashboard. It does not get rid of any of those blocks. You're not losing anything. It is those same features. However, they fill the screen better and they have more editing capabilities when you're in the new dashboard. So when I talk about the blocks, I mean these ones, your search, your hot sheets, your quick listing buttons, your favorite searches, things like that. This is going to make it so that your screen will also fit better, whether you're using a desktop like I am right now, maybe you're using a tablet, maybe you've got a big screen, a small screen. I know a lot of times like we use the classic dashboard and it just fits really, really wonky if we like move what type of device we're using. So this is something that will help fit your screen no matter what device you're using. In here, there's a lot of things that you can do to customize your experience so it's built to exactly what you need. I know a lot of times we come into MLS and it's like we recreate the wheel, even though we're doing the same things on a daily basis, right? We're always going to search and then we're typing in all the searches that we need. And maybe you work a community, maybe you work a specific niche, whether it's distressed properties or lot and land, things like that. And we're constantly coming out here to get an idea of what the market looks like. Well, you don't need to do that. You'll notice down here, you've got widgets that are your favorite searches and your favorite cards. Okay, so we'll go through, we'll run a search and I'll show you guys how to save these things so that you don't have to constantly come out here again and recreate the wheel. These are time savers that, you just don't need to be wasting your time doing these things over and over and over again, especially if you're in a specific community or working a specific niche. You really should save these things out here so that you've got that quick button and you're not always coming out here, going to search, trying to remember what your parameters are and doing this time and time again. If you constantly come out to the MLS and skip over what these blocks are, you're also missing out on the fact that there is hot sheets. So if somebody's like, hey, just in the past week, what's been going on? You can click in through these and you can even change your settings for each of these quick boxes to manage out your hot sheets and change out the settings on these. The other great thing about the new dashboard that your classic dashboard does not have is this slide out right here. This is a notification timeline. You'll notice mine is empty. I'm not a practicing realtor, so I don't have any. But if you have customers that are plugged into the system, the new dashboard allows you to see all of their activity all together here, just like a social media timeline. So if you think about you log on to Facebook and you stalk people, see what they're doing every day on the weekends or before you go to bed, instead you can log into the MLS and stalk your clients and see what they're doing on a daily basis. What did they like? What did they open? What did they click into? Did they put any notes? All of them will show up here. And it's not just client by client. So before you used to have to come out here, go to My Matrix, go to Contacts, and then go into their activity to figure out what they were doing. There's a lot more, with the new One Home upgrade that we went to last year, there is a lot more readings on their behaviors and what it is that they're doing. And all of that will display right here. So you're not trying to figure out, did Clarence go out there and like a property? You're clicking into each one. It's all right here in this beautiful timeline. You can also edit out your settings here to display what features you want to see. Maybe you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of contacts in here, and you don't need to see every time somebody visits the portal. Maybe to you, what's important is just when they favorite something or they dislike something. You can, turn off any of these notifications that you don't want and customize your feed completely here. For a nice, quick, easy look, whether it is while you're trying to fall asleep at night or when you're getting up to be productive in the morning. We don't judge what time you look at your timeline. All right, so next up, let's go ahead. We're going to hop into the search really quick, and I'm going to show you how to save a few things for your future use when it comes to the search. And then after we do search, I'll talk about everybody's favorite, which is their production stats. So in the search, what I'm going to do is, if you haven't been to any of our classes before on the new search capabilities, I'm going to kind of show you both. So the classic search, which is what most of you were trained on, is all of these buckets of data right here. You've got residential rental, lot and land, commercial. I will tell you a shortcut that I use a lot that people don't realize what cross property means. Cross property is a way that you search all of these data buckets at once. So maybe your client does not fit into one bucket. Maybe it's not just residential. Maybe it's not just lot and land. Maybe they're kind of looking for a multitude of things. Then you can go to cross property to be able to search all of these buckets at once. Okay. But all of these are the classic search. Your new search, very simply put at the top, is called search parentheses new. So let's hop into the classic search first and talk about the customization of your experience and saving some things to make your life easier in the future. So in this classic search here, the way to customize your experience is down towards the bottom. So you'll notice every time you come in, whether it's the residential button I clicked on or you're looking at lot and land or commercial, there is always going to be the same default search features right here. These fields are the same every time. However, if you didn't know, every single field inside of the MLS is searchable, even, down to the smallest little details. Maybe they want to search if there's a fence on the property, or they want to search what type of roof there is, or they're looking, exterior features, HOA fees, any of those things that you can imagine. Anything that you see on that 360 report, you can add right here into this search. And I know there are a lot of people out there that specialize in certain niche filters, right? Maybe it's like, I work only with the Gulf front people, which water is here and the Gulf front access is here. But it's something special that you do, that you research regularly, and it's not here. You can add and remove any of those fields with this button down here. It is below the search line here, so it gets missed a lot, right? We don't see it. But by clicking add or remove, it's going to open up the list of every single search feature or every field we have so that you can add it too. Now you'll see here on this side, these are all the ones that I've added and customized my experience, okay? Now, if you click anything on this side and you click add, it'll give you an error if you've already added it to your list or it's part of the already on-demand feature. So if we come back here, after adding or removing any of them, you'll see that they then are here down below. So at any point, I could search if it has a fence, I can search the HOA fees, anything like that. And that is the customization part of your your classic search. The newer search does have a lot more for customization. So let's hop into there really quick. In here, what you can do is you've got your different data buckets here in this dropdown. If you have not looked at the new search before, you'll notice that all of the fields for searching run along the left-hand side, the map is here, and then your results are down here. Now, when I mean that this is much more customizable, I truly mean every aspect of this is customizable. The way that you set this up will remain the same for every time that you come out, which is why we really try to push the new search so that the experience is built out to what you need. And again, it's a speedy, it's a shortcut. You're not recreating the wheel every time you come out. You're also not jumping from tab to tab to tab, right? The classic search, you've got to put in your filters and then you click save and then you can only view the map or you can view the results. It's one or the other. In this, you can see everything at once, which is great. But if you don't want to, maybe you're not a map person, you can certainly drag and drop this bar and see as much or as little of the map or results as you want. And it'll save that ratio for every single time you come out here. So the same goes for this bar. Maybe you need to see more of the map. You can collapse this and open this as needed so that it's not always in the way. Put in your filters, put in your fields, and then be done with it for sure. But if you're continuing to edit your search, then you keep it open and it moves with you as you go. You don't have to click the submit button or the save button any longer. But what's great about the customization in here, aside from your view panels, is the settings buttons up here. So this is where you would add and edit the fields that you want to see. What's great about the new search versus the classic search is the default options do not have to stay, right? In the classic search, you're just adding it to the bottom and that's it. You're not editing the whole screen, just those little bottom pieces. However, in the new search, you can add any field you want to, right? You can search all of the fields here. All of the ones that you've added are here. But what's great is you can grab these and then you can reorder them, right? Put them in whatever order it is that you want, add all the ones that you want, delete all of the ones that you want, even the ones that come default, you no longer have to look at. You click save and the entire search panel here on the left-hand side is built to exactly what it is that you need. You know, we have a lot of people, I use a lot of different examples. Another one is subdivisions, right? They're like, I want the subdivisions right at the top. That's most important to me. I'm only searching, I don't know, Pelican Preserve. Okay, easy peasy. The new search, you can completely customize this. And however you have this set up is how it's going to be the next time you come out here. Again, you don't have to do this every single time you log in. What's great is you can also fill out these parameters. So let's say I'll come down here and say, yes, waterfront, yes, golf access. And we'll pick on Cape Coral. They've got a lot of golf access. And you can see as I continue to fill out these fields, click apply, the map and the results are moving with me. What's great about this, though, is the other feature with this new search is I can click save. And now Cape Coral, waterfront, yes, golf access, yes, are saved. It's not just about saving your search fields and capabilities, it's also saving what you fill those out with. So again, maybe you regularly are always searching the same things. You can have this pre-set up so that it's good to go. It's ready to rock and roll and you're done. But you do want to remember anytime you come out here and you go to do a different search, it's going to affect what you're searching, right? So you can clear the search field and start over at any point. You also have that same capability when you're inside of residential to use this clear button here. I think a lot of us, especially, you know, right when you come in, you'll notice the default is it's selecting active. And if you're doing like a CMA or trying to run a search on closed and pending properties, we get a lot of calls where they're like, hey, all these actives are showing up. Well, if you're running a specialty search, make sure when you start your search, you click clear, whether you're in the new search or you're in the classic search. All right, so back to our lovely search here. I did not save it, I cleared it. The other thing that you can customize and save for your experience when you come out here is you can edit the settings of what shows up on your report. So you've got a lot of different views now. We're very used to, and I'll kind of collapse the map here a little bit. We're very used to having the single line view, but you have the thumbnail view, you've got the side-by-side view, a tile view, or you can look at the whole report here. But what's great with the classic search and the new search is you can also edit what the columns are that show up here. So again, we get a lot of people who call about the developments that they show up in. They want to know what part of Pelican Preserve they're in, or you know, what part of the community they're in, or any other type of data. So in the new search, the way that you're going to edit out these columns is clicking the settings button, and you'll notice it looks very much the same as when we edited out the fields for the search capabilities. You can edit exactly what you see on that single line report, click save, and everything you see here and the order in which it shows will be what you need and what you want for future use. Now, it's important to remember whether you're here in the new search or we'll hop over, trying to appease both people. If you are in the classic search, the way that you're going to add that is clicking on the header here, and you've got insert column or remove column. So it's a little bit of an older system. Obviously, it's the classic search, but you can do that here as well. What's important to know is if I were to select all of these and I wanted to export this data, it's not going to export exactly what you see on the screen. The exports are set up to only send out a certain set of data, okay? So when we select all of these and we click export, it's just going to give us what's called a single line report. Now, if you want to edit the type of reports you're running and the type of data you're pulling, maybe you want it to give you an Excel spreadsheet that is just address, subdivision, and sold price, right? You want to customize out that Excel sheet that you're getting. I'm going to throw you guys into a little bit of a whirlwind. What you're going to do is you're going to come out to your settings feature to edit that. So in settings, it's called custom export, okay? So if you want to create a special subset of data in different types of sheets, you would save those here. So depending on where you want to pull that data, residential income, any of these data points, you would create those. And you can see that I've created other ones before. What you automatically get is just called single line report. That's like the default that the system comes with. But we've done different class tests, like how many SDEs there were. There's a lot of different data sets that we've pulled. So when you come out here and you're in the search, we'll go back to our data set we were at, and let's say, hey, I want to export these 25 pieces of data. When I click export, instead of just the standard single line report, I have all of these customized spreadsheets that I made for myself so I can pull specific types of data. Now, that's a very, very niche example of things that you can do, but we do get a lot of calls on it, so I want to make sure we point that out. All right, so some other shortcuts and quickies for the search capabilities are creating a saved search and creating a saved cart. Now, you'll see that they're down here at the bottom. You've got save and you've got carts. So one would be a new saved search. And what the difference is between a saved search and a saved cart is about the type of data that's in it. A saved search, the MLS listings are going to flow in and out of it based on if it matches your criteria in that moment. So today, if I were to look at my saved search, it would show me all the listings that are Cape Coral, what did I put in earlier? Cape Coral, waterfront, golf access, okay? But those same listings are not going to be what I see tomorrow, right? Some of them may close, some may be new. It's going to flow. The data is going to flow in and out of it, and it's all going to be based on the criteria that you plugged in. What a cart does instead is it watches the specific listings that you've added to it. So the data and the listings do not flow in and out of it like the search does. So if I were to add these listings to a cart, it would just be the 25 I selected, and I would be able to keep an eye on those 25 listings so long as I have that saved cart. So in here, we would say new listing cart, we'd add to or create a new cart. So if you already had a list and you wanted to add to it, you would click add to. If you wanted to create a new cart, you would create a new cart. And then we would name that cart. We'll call this class test. And if you want to add it to a contact, you can as well, so that it shows up in their one home experience. The saved searches for your speed bar shortcut, this would be a speed bar shortcut that you could type up here, depending on how you named it, and it would pull that specific search. Or you can do a new saved search and add it to a contact as well. Now, where these end up showing up, if you attach them to a contact, right, they'll show up for your contact, your buyer, your seller, whoever it is, it will show up for them in their one home experience outside of the auto emails that you do set them up on. And then for yourself, where it's going to set that up is in here on your dashboard. So you've got your favorite searches, and then you've got your carts here. You can edit them here, or you can edit them in the search feature. Now, to access those inside of the new search, very similar as before, you would fill out the criteria that you want, and then you have here a new saved search, or you could come out here. I don't have anything selected, but your cart button is here as well. So you've got those options in both the classic and the new search. Now, if you guys have any questions, just type it in the chat. We'll come back to this part, but this is just the quick stuff when it comes to the searching capabilities. We want to make sure that your experience is built out to exactly what it is that you need. Again, so you're not recreating the wheel every single time you come out here. Your search is built and ready to go with you the way that you need that in that moment, right? Because as realtors, we know that most of the time when you get that phone call, you don't have time to be filling all of these things out again and again and again. So go ahead, when you do have spare time, it's summer, take your spare time, customize out your search experience so that it's built exactly for what you need. Next up, we're going to go through the shortcut to get to your production report. So I am going to use Mr. Shane Spring, our president, as a guinea pig because he lets me. We're going to log in as him really quick so that you can see how this button works. So when you log into the MLS, this is what you see, whether it's the new dashboard or the classic dashboard, the tabs up here are all the same. The way that you're going to get to your production stats for a quick access is coming into the market reports. If you haven't played around with all the different tabs up here, I do suggest doing it. There's a lot of hidden little fun secrets in there. But when you click into this, you will have the 3 different reports here. The agent production report is right here. Simply clicking this, you can choose your dates, right? Do you want to look at the past year? Do you want to know year to date? Pretty simple. You don't have to fill out all kinds of different things. You just put in the dates you want to see your production for, click generate report, and just like that, as fast as possible, please. There it goes. All right, there's your production report. And it's not just this simple little, oh, yeah, you did X amount of listings and X amount of volume. No, you've got a full agent production report here. So this is something that you could use, whether you pull the data out and make it look pretty and post about it, or maybe you include this in any kind of listing presentation, buyer's presentation, whatever it might be. You've got a full-blown agent production report right here with the click of a button. And then you also have, we go back here, inventory report. And then this is where you can fill out a little bit more data if you wanted to. We'll say active, leave everything else blank, click generate report. And this is going to give you a simplified run of inventory. So the production report's going to give you all the ins and outs and the data and the averages, full list, right? This is very intensive. This is going to give you a quick rundown of what you've got going on. The other thing that you can do that wouldn't be a Speedy, because the question we get follow-up is, well, hey, I pulled my production report and that gives me everything, right? Because you're just plugging in the dates and they say, but I want to know my production just for, and I keep picking on them today, there's a community of the day. I just want to know what I did in Pelican Preserve. Well, that's not going to be a Speedy, right? I'm showing you a shortcut. But to answer that follow-up question, if you want to know what you did in Cape Coral, or you want to know what you did for a specific parameter of data, you would come back out, you would do the full search, maybe you do the whole cross-property search. You're going to plug in your number here. If you're a buyer's agent, though, well, this is for your whole broker. If you're a buyer's agent, though, you want to make sure that you add in here, you're going to search by your MLS ID. And there is one for whether you're list or sell, so it'll pull both. You can plug in list agent MLS ID, selling agent MLS ID, or you can do it for both. And then once you add it in here, search by your MLS ID, plug in whatever parameters you want, whether it's the community, whether it's the type of property, a certain price range, whatever your heart's desire is. And that will just run a basic search for you. It's not, you can pull a CMA based on that. It'll give you that same data. Again, that's the long way around it for a production report. But that easy quick button is really, really great, especially, we get that a lot at the end of the year into the beginning of the year when people are trying to figure out hey, everyone's posting how much they've done this year. How do I do that? That market reports button is really easy peasy for you. And if I have any brokers that are on the call, because there's 13 of you, I don't know if there are any brokers on the call, but if you click into your market report as a broker, you have a few more buttons so that you can see your entire office report. And then I also suggest going out and using the broker tool that comes from Agent 3000. They will pull office reports for you as well. All right, on to the next feature. We are at 11:32, so we've got plenty of time here. We're going to show you some quick stuff for input. So a lot of the times we realize that our members are coming out here, they're putting in a new listing, and you guys are really, really starting from scratch when you simply don't have to. And I will use Shane as an example again. We're going to grab one of his listings. Just grab an MLS number right here. Oh boy. The problem is I unplugged my mouse to plug in a speaker for you guys, so that's what you get. All right, so in the input feature, there are multiple ways to make this process a lot faster when it's time for your input. First and foremost, we click Add New, and then you're going to decide which bucket it's going into. Is it residential? Is it lot and land? Is it commercial? Whatever that may be, we're going to go with residential today. We notice a lot of people are clicking Start with a blank listing and filling out everything from scratch. In the least, you guys should definitely be using the fill from tax roll. What this is pulling in all of the data it can from the property appraiser's office. So in here, you can, if you've got it, right, maybe you've got LIPA up or the Collier County Property Appraiser's office, you can plug the PID in here and click fill from. Or if you don't have the PID, most of the time we just have the address memorized, you can type in the parameters here. But remember that this page, this is not an input section. This is a search section. And we get a lot of people who waste time filling all of this out, and it's like way too much information and something's wrong and it won't search it. So then they end up just going to start with blank listing. Treat this as a search. Less is more, right? So if you can, just type in some simple stuff. We'll start with an address. And just simply leave it at that. Click search. It's going to give you multiple options. Now, if you have like 123 Main Street or something really common, it'll give you multiple options, right? Then you can look and see, oh no, it's the one that, you know, this person owns. Find the right thing. You click fill, and it will take, it's about somewhere between 25 to 30 data points and fill all of those things out for you, right? So you right off the bat have multiple things that are already done for you. Now let's go back. The biggest help that we have noticed a lot of people don't use that I want to bring to your attention is fill from across property. And what this does is if you previously had it listed, maybe you let it expire, you wanted to reset days on market, right? You wait 30 days, you're going to put it out here again, or it's a listing that you had before. A lot of us have repeat business, right? What you can do is copy from that listing. You don't have to re-put the listing in completely. Now, it's important to keep in mind, you cannot copy other people's listing, right? That's plagiarism. We have a block on it. We don't allow for it. We'd get calls all the time if that was the case. But if it was a listing that you previously had, and because the broker owns the listing, it has to be with the same brokerage, right? If you switched brokers, it's not going to work. But you can plug the MLS number in here, and it will copy over every single thing except for the property description, which that's a simple copy paste, right, from the old listing. So you put this in here, you click fill from, and boom, the listing's ready to go. You'll see as we click through here, everything's filled out. They didn't do rooms and sizes, but every single checkbox is clicked. The financial tab is done. Everything is in here. Again, the only thing that will not copy over is remarks, but you can simply save this, go to the old listing, copy paste. That's the one thing you have to manually do, but we all know how tedious putting in a listing can be. This will copy all of that over for you. What's great is we're going to click submit. We're saving it as incomplete. The important thing too is if we come in here to add and edit photos, you can fill the photos from the previous listing. It's not going to assume you want to use the same photos, because most of the time when people copy a listing over, it's like several years later, right? They sold the property or they tried to sell the property 3 years ago. They came back to you. The photos are outdated. So it does not assume. However, if you need to, you can click fill photos from listing, and it'll bring all of them over, including all of their caption, okay? So that is a nice, easy peasy way to get that done. If you are starting over, we're going to go back to add and edit photos and start from the beginning. Another Speedy, and this is a tool completely in its own, is if you have auto-generate descriptions checked off, Our AI system through RESP AI will write all of those descriptions for you for the bottom of those photos. I know that's tedious, that takes up a lot of time. So whether you're copying a listing over or you're starting with a brand new listing, no matter where you're at, if you upload photos, make sure this box is checked so that it will write all of your descriptions for you. I do say double check them, right? You want to make sure if it says, hey, these are wood floors, but it's really like laminate, looks like wood, you don't want it to be false. But it makes it a lot faster if you just have to read through 25 descriptions and you don't have to sit there and become a creative writer and go get your journalism degree. None of that's needed. Let it do it for you, double check it, and then click submit. Now, I know a lot of you skip over that part too because you're like, that takes too much time, but you're really doing sellers a disservice if you are not filling out. Let me load these really quick for you so you can see what I'm talking about. But if you're not filling out these portions of the photos, it does help when it goes out onto syndication sites if it has that data. It helps it score higher. It helps it go to the top of the list more because the more information and the more data points a listing has, the higher up it will rank in their algorithm. There's a back-end system that says, hey, like this listing is great and has all kinds of data and people are going to look at it more, so they'll promote it more. But this also helps with your ADA compliancy because if somebody cannot see, it will read the description for them, which will also get you more attention. I don't want to say more views, but more attention to your listing there. So a couple of points on that for input. You guys have been a quiet group. There's like no questions at all, which is either great or terrifying. But let's go in here to our last tip that most of us don't know about that could help you out. This is for people who either have admins or assistants with the admin or assistant MLS access. If you have an admin or assistant that needs access, please go out to our site. We've got an application for it. You don't want to be giving out your credentials. It's a fine. But most people have an admin. If it's not an admin, then you also might have a team that you work on behalf of. And I know there can be a lot of complications in going back and forth of like adding who's co-listed and then somebody's on a listing and somebody's not on a listing, somebody has access, somebody doesn't have access. And I do want to point out that there are a lot of features up here in your settings panel that you may not have paid attention to before. And one of those includes team settings, okay? You can go out here and give somebody access to access your listings, your contacts, your stuff. So maybe you're a team, your husband and wife team, or you're just a team with multiple people on it, or your team includes an admin assistant. You can click here to create a team. You'll plug in your number. I don't know who that is. We'll see what it gives me. It's Amy Newton, our compliance manager. I'm like, I know I've typed numbers in here before. So when you type in their MLS ID, you click submit, it's going to give you two options. It's going to say, do you want this member to be able to impersonate you, or do you want them to work on behalf of you? And what's important about that is if I say Amy Newton is going to impersonate me, that means they become they log into my profile completely. And when we look at like the different timestamps and who did what, it's going to show that I did it, not that Amy did it, that I did it, right? Because she completely gets to be me. If you want this member to work on behalf of you, they enter the system, but they are acting as themselves and they still have like the same locks that their profile allows, right? So assistants can't make listings active. So if they'll be able to get in there, they'll be able to make changes, but there are certain locks that they'll still have on them. So it depends on how much leeway you want to give them, how much power you want to give them, but you do have those options to have them completely impersonate you or work on behalf of you. Once you're done, you click add, bada bing, bada boom, you now have a team member. What's great about this is you can add multiple people, right? Most of our teams, you guys are more than just two. You've got, the assistant, you've got the buyer's agent, you've got, maybe you've got 10. You can come in here and you can add as many people as needed, and then they can add you back. Now, just because I added Amy, that means when she logs in, she's going to be able to go out there and decide who she wants to work on behalf of. But I can't work on behalf of Amy unless she gives me access. So just because I said so doesn't mean she said so. So you can have it where somebody can impersonate the other person, but not vice versa, depending on what your setup is. And I will show you, I'm going to remove her. Sorry, Amy. Again, we're going to use Shane as a guinea pig here to show you what that looks like if you were to add somebody and give them access. So when that person logs in, so Shane's got somebody who he's got as team members and somebody has him added as a team member and vice versa. When Shane logs in, he sees his dashboard. Everything is as normal as you guys are used to it. However, he can come up here and click on his name, and then he can switch to, because his is with the broker for his company. So it will have this option up there where they can switch to whatever person it is that has given them access. So clicking that will take them into that profile. So if you give them access to you, they give them access vice versa. You'll have each other's names up there. If there are multiple people added, they'll see multiple names listed here. And then at any point when they are in there, they can log back out and switch between both back and forth as many times as needed. So what's great about this is they don't have to log in and log out. They can just switch between profiles, especially if you guys are sharing listings and it's like the main list agent can change stuff and the co-list can't. And this is for members that are all within Florida Gulf Coast MLS. It does not go between associations. So they have to be members of Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association and Florida Gulf Coast MLS. You guys can see everything that is in Bonita and Naples, but you can't, switch between dashboards because they're a completely different system. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Alrighty. So that is all of the shortcuts and the speedies and the little hidden secrets that we have here that we wanted to share with you. We don't like to think of them as secrets because I just think it's things that, people don't see as often. As you guys work through these, if you have questions though, do feel free to reach out to us here in the MLS department. The whole team is available to help you guys. 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. And if it's after hours or on the weekends, we've got the lovely answer link number that will go to the Cotality database. And that number you can find running along the top of your MLS, the 833 number that you can call into. But we're here to help you guys through any of that. And then you can also email in mls@rpcra.org. So I appreciate you guys so much for coming out and joining us today. Next week, you can join us. We're going to go through all of the different things that could help or hurt your listing. So a lot of times we think that we're doing what's best for our listing by checking off as many boxes as possible, but that's not always the case, right? So we'll dive into some different scenarios, specific listings, and help you guys figure out what's the best way to put your listing in the MLS so that it gets into the right hands. And if you guys have any suggestions for MLS Mondays, things that you need that you don't see on the calendar, do write us an email. We take all the suggestions in and make sure we get you covered. So until then, I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much.